Hello everyone, my name is Edgar Olivo. Welcome to Energize Your Business, where we get to talk to professionals and experts in their field every week to share with you resources and knowledge of what they are doing to advance their careers and of course give you some insight as to what you can do next for you to grow in your own professional career. We are very, very honored to have a good friend of mine and colleague in the legal field. His name is Alejandro Perez. His office is called the Law Office of Alejandro Perez, and he's going to talk to us today about his own professional journey and things that we can learn about what he's accomplishing in his own career. But at the same time, we'd like to share with you some tips and resources on how he helps businesses overcome bullying in the workplace. It's a very real thing that is happening, and especially in a time that we're living in right now, it's very, very important that we know who to go to and what resources are available at our disposal so that we can have a harmonious work environment, which I think at the end of the day, that's all what we all want, right? We want to work in a harmonious environment where we're being productive and we're respecting each other. So we're going to talk about all of the resources that he has and knowledge that he has around workplace bullying and how you can have access to his resources as well so that you can address that issue if it's something that you are seeing in your own workplace, or if you're not, it's good to know what's available and how to spot it, because I think, like I mentioned, we're living in some very interesting times, and it's a very important time to have all the resources at our disposal. So make sure you grab a pen and paper. Also, please share the video, comment in the comment section so that I can engage with you and have that conversation with you as well. And if you want to connect directly with Alejandro, by all means, I would love to connect you directly with him. So stay tuned. Alejandro, welcome to Energize Your Business. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You know, it's funny that we're doing this in English because I feel like I need to talk to you in Spanish too, because we've been doing
Right.
Spanish interviews, right?
Exactly.
But, you know, Alejandro, we've known each other now for a while, and I've seen just the level of expertise that you provide your clients. I've been a client of yours, and I've been very, very happy with the way you take us on and you know, you kind of like just, you take care of us, right? That's kind of your philosophy, and that's something that I've always sensed with you. Now, I really am curious for you to share with us your professional journey, because you're a young attorney. You're a young attorney, but with a lot of experience. You have a ton of experience.
Sure, yes.
So for those of us who are interested in the legal field, which is something that I'm very interested in, I want to stay close to you because I like the way you work. Tell us what got you to become an attorney? What is it that got you here?
Sure, absolutely. I think my journey began when I was a little boy. I think my mother would tell you I was destined to be an attorney because I would argue with her over every little thing and play devil's advocate, which has never been something I'm famous in my family for. But, you know, just along the way, I worked in human resources for a while, and I always meant to be a lawyer. I just didn't know what that path looked like. My family consisted of immigrants. They had no clue what the foundation was to get to college, much less law school. So when I figured what that was, and figured that I was able to do that, I pursued my law degree, which I graduated in 2013. So yeah, I'm going into my 6th year now being an attorney, thankfully, and it's been great. And we do take a lot of pride in you know what I do and our clients and making sure that we're treating not only their problem, but we're helping them for the future so they can also holistically take care of themselves and protect themselves as well.
Yeah, I think one of the things that makes you in a special category is because you have a Hispanic background, and you've also had to work really hard for your own education as well, right? You had to like really just push yourself through that. And we've seen a lot of issues in the workplace around diversity, right? In this current time that we're in, I feel like we're either watching the purge of corruption, right? And watching our legal system in play and really doing its job, which is why I think it's there, and I really believe in it. But the impacts that we see there that may not be so positive in the limelight in the news does kind of bleed into the workplace, right?
Oh, yes,
and so what are some of those things that you're seeing that is impacting now the workplace?
Sure. Well, you know, sexual harassment is huge right now because of the Me Too movement, which is a great thing, you know, because it's bringing that to light in a lot of organizations and requiring a lot of companies to look at their policies and revisit that. Another thing that, like you said, workplace bullying, we're living in a time where people, probably unprecedented, that people feel enabled or empowered to share their opinion about everything, which can lead to some serious problems in the workplace, and you know, what could be considered bullying. So we see it on the news every day, and it's definitely affecting the workplace in a myriad of ways.
So what is, I mean, we can break down the word bullying and what it is, right? But I think for me, my take on it is it's just blatant disrespect for the human being, right?
Sure.
And it's asserting a power over another human being
Right.
that is not welcomed.
Sure.
Right? And that can be harassment, that could be all kinds of different things. What does workplace bullying look like? So what should we be looking out for?
Sure. So workplace bullying, I mean, the law doesn't really define it. The Institute for Workplace Bullying, however, does.
Yeah, okay.
And they define it as anything that intimidates, harasses, threatens an employee, right?
Okay.
So, right, being subversive over an employee,
Okay.
yelling, screaming, being disrespectful,
Okay.
cursing,
Yeah.
things that would threaten, intimidate, or cause someone not to do their job.
Yeah.
And it's a very fine line between what is bullying and what is harassment.
Okay.
And it can open a lot of, between what is harassment and bullying, there's a ton of other things that it could expose the employer to
Yeah.
liability for.
Yeah. So it's bullying comes in many different shapes, forms, and sizes, right? It can be in different ways. You mentioned, from an employer to an employee. What about employee to employee?
Absolutely.
What does that look like? What does bullying look like in that
Sure,
scenario?
absolutely. I mean, same thing. It could be someone that is just attacking someone for if they're in a protected class, which could get into harassment or discrimination. It could also just be one employee to another, just making fun of them, or their life, or their work product, or whatever. Anything that ends in like yelling, screaming, anything that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it more and more because now people are more cognizant of it and are, coming forward telling people that this is not going on in the
Yeah.
workplace.
Okay,
So, not to cut you off, but employers
Yeah.
should be very cognizant
Yes.
and supervisors as to what's going on in the workplace and keep a close eye for bullying.
Yes. One of the tips that I've given employers when I go in and do trainings myself is you do definitely need to look at your employee manual and look at that category of protected classes, right? Tell us a little bit more about protected classes and what is that?
Sure. So your protected classes are classes that are legally protected by Title VII or a municipal state law that might extend those, but usually you're looking at race, national origin, religion, gender, workers over 40, that sort of thing. So you can imagine those workers are susceptible
Yeah.
to bullying. Let's say you're an older worker. I mean,
Yeah.
people may make fun of your age.
Ageism, right?
So exactly. So I mean, there's a different things that go into play there. But like I said, part of what we do at our firm is not just, we like to litigate as much as the other attorney, and when we take pride in that, we zealously advocate for our clients in the courtroom. But beyond that, we're trying to educate our clients
Yeah.
and make sure that they're healthy.
Yeah.
I believe, and the only clients I would take on are people who
Yeah.
are interested in companies who are interested in A, doing the right thing, and B,
Yes.
being an employer of choice.
Yes.
So my goal is not only to help them in their courtroom, but help
Yeah.
them stay out of the courtroom
Yeah.
by coming up with policies,
Yeah.
training,
Yeah.
investigations, that sort of thing. And
Yeah.
you're right. One thing they need to do is make sure that they have a policy,
Right.
and not just look at the protected class, but make sure they have a workplace bullying policy
Right.
that specifically delineates what they're not going to tolerate at
Yeah.
the company
Yeah.
and enforce it and,
And
train their
enforce it.
employees.
Yeah, and how does cyberbullying play into the workplace too? I mean, now we're connected via email, we're connected via LinkedIn and social media and all this other stuff, right?
Sure.
Should employers also be concerned with cyberbullying?
Well, I mean, to the extent that it's affecting the workplace, right? I
Okay.
mean, there may be a situation, and I can recall a case where a male coworker was calling another female coworker a pole dancer and that sort of thing. So,
yeah.
I mean, that led to some liability for the company because she reported it and it continued. So, yeah, they need
It
to be
happened
cognizant.
outside of work,
Right,
it was
but
a work
it also was
relationship.
involving work because it continued
Uh-huh.
into the workplace. So
Yeah.
that's also a fine line where you'd probably want to contact someone like myself or your
Yes.
attorney to say,
What do I
is
do
this
here?"
an issue? Because what happens out of the workplace and what happens in the workplace is always a fine line as
Right.
well.
You need to understand that. I've been in conversations too with directors and heads of companies where they don't know what to do with their social media interactions of their employees, right?
Sure.
And of course, there's a lot of concern about what conversations are being held on social media, but an employer really can't monitor all of it unless it's
Right.
reported.
No, absolutely. And,
Yeah.
and nor do we want to, right? We don't want to expend our resources
Yeah.
monitoring employees'
Yeah.
social media pages.
Yeah.
But it would behoove them, I feel, to at least put that into their policy
Yeah.
to say, we don't tolerate bullying, including,
Yeah.
use of social media, et
Yeah.
cetera, to target other coworkers.
Yeah. So if you're a small business who hasn't developed your employee manual to ensure that you have some clear roadmap as to what to do if you run into bullying in the workplace, what are some things that should definitely be in that employee manual that an employer should be looking at
Sure.
when they're trying to address sexual harassment or harassment and bullying?
So you definitely would want a sexual harassment policy, a non-retaliation policy,
Yep.
a workplace bullying policy,
Yep.
a non-discrimination policy, and not only just have the policy, a paragraph, put some meaning behind it and
Yep.
what that is,
Yep.
how it's reported,
Yep.
make sure that you're providing various levels of reporting
Okay.
and what that looks like, because that's ultimately what's going to guide you through the day. I mean,
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of small businesses that don't have any employment manual, and they're, frankly, they're asleep at the wheel because they're really posing a huge liability for
Yeah.
themselves.
Does your firm also develop employee manuals?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. We work closely with clients to develop employment policies, review their existing manuals or new
Okay.
manuals.
Okay.
And we do this. Not only have we, I come from an HR background, so I have that experience, but also I understand, and I'm an attorney, so I know what clauses, provisions, what policies are
Yeah.
litigated,
Yeah.
and what provisions are thrown out by courts, what
Yeah.
provisions are favorable,
Yeah.
and assist companies in saving themselves.
And it's definitely not something that you want to do on your own. I mean, you can probably Google and find employee manuals of other companies, but do you think that this is that these type of clauses in the employee manual, should they be tailored and customized to each individual business?
Absolutely,
There's no
absolutely.
cookie
You
cutter
have to.
approach?
There is no cookie cutter approach. You have to understand the client's business very well to create that, and the company's goals and their culture. So it should be reflective of those things. That's the
Right.
only thing that's going to set this employer apart from someone else.
Right.
Again,
Right.
it's not only helping with liability, but also helping that client
Yeah.
be profitable
Yeah.
and be an employer of choice, or where people want to work there.
Exactly. You want your employees to want to work there.
Right.
That's very important.
Absolutely.
Now, what happens in a situation? What advice would you give? And using a general example, right? There was a question that came up on on another social media program that I had, where an employee was encountering workplace bullying. So she has a colleague who likes to yell and demean everyone around her, and it's been reported to the supervisor and manager, and nothing's getting done. What should this employee who's experiencing the bullying herself, what should she do? What would you tell that person if they were in front of you?
I would tell her to continue to press with management, to continue to report what's going on. I would encourage her to seek, if she doesn't feel that that's, look at the company's policy, if they have an open door policy.
Yeah.
Can she go to someone in human resources?
Yeah.
If she feels that she's threatened or she feels she's being bullied because of her class, meaning her gender or something of that nature, then she'd probably go seek an attorney. And that's what happens in these cases.
Yeah.
When we don't have policies, when we're not enforcing,
Right.
and we're not enforcing those policies, and that's another thing. Having a policy isn't sufficient; you have to actually live it, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just walking the walk. It's
Yeah, you need to make sure that that whatever you're going to draft, right, that you are
Right.
going to enforce, that you believe in it as
Absolutely.
well.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just going to get thrown out, and there you
Correct.
go, and you're going to
Yeah.
keep perpetuating the cycle,
Exactly.
and no one's going to be happy wanting to work there, right? That's some great tips. Great
Great.
tips. When we come back, we're going to talk with Alejandro some more about all the resources that you offer
Sure.
and the type of clients that should be calling you to be engaging with
Sure.
this topic, because it's a very important topic and we need to make sure companies are protected. okay?
Absolutely.
So don't go anywhere. I'm going to be showing you some programs of offerings that we have here at Compass CBS. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Edgar Oliva. I'm the founder and senior business trainer of Compass CBS. Today I want to give you 5 reasons why you should take Microsoft courses with us. Over 80% of companies are now using Microsoft and require it as a skill. You'll be more productive and produce better results for your clients. You'll earn more money over the span of your career. You'll work faster and improve your quality of work. And it opens the door to many more possibilities. We have highly trained and certified bilingual experts ready to help you achieve your professional goals. Call us at 602-759-0553 or register on our website. See you at Compass CBS.
Hello, my name is Alejandro Perez with the law firm of Alejandro Perez. We specialize in labor and employment law, business law, and estate planning. You can reach our firm at 602-354-2833, or you can email me personally at ap@alejandroperezlaw.com. Your success is our business priority.
Hi, my name is Edgar Oliva. I want to tell you about an amazing resource that will make you stress-free about your business finances while giving you more time to do what you do best.
At Star Bookkeeping Services, we specialize in bookkeeping and payroll services to take off the weight of managing your business finances, monthly sales taxes and payroll taxes, 1099s and W-2s to have ready for your CPA to review and finalize your tax return, notary and business license registrations to help you ensure your documents are always in order.
Make sure you reach out to them and schedule your appointment today. And by the way, tell them that Edgar from Compass CBS sent you.
Hi, my name is Michelle Chavez. I learned a lot. I mean, I came in with a list, covered everything, but so much more. Came in kind of knowing a little bit about social media, learned a lot more. I feel very comfortable where I could go in and actually do something. Very organized, very thorough. It's an excellent class, highly recommend it. Well, I have to say the presenter was just so enthusiastic, knowledgeable, happy to share, happy to answer questions, and we asked a lot of questions. A lot of good information that I could not have found, or it would have taken me a long time to go into YouTube and watch a lot of videos or read books which are outdated. It was good to have up-to-date information, anybody and everybody, because even if you have a good background, you're going to learn more. It's just so thorough, and it just tells you enough for you to know to be able to go in and start it on your own. The resources that are shared in the class, and then there is, like I said, the follow-up afterwards so that you have the support. You can go and ask questions, and you can talk to the people that are alumni, so you're kind of an important person afterwards too.
And welcome back. Thank you for hanging in there with us. We've got a lot of great tips that we want to share with you in case you are encountering workplace bullying. It's a very real thing, and we want to make sure that employers have all the resources that they need, which is why we bring in the experts who are working in this area. Alejandro, tell us about some companies that you're working with that, well, you don't have to tell us the name of the company. We don't want to call them out. But some situations that, sometimes look innocent, but they're not as innocent. And what should we be doing about that? What comes to mind?
Sure, no, I work with, first of all, I work with companies of all sizes, from small companies to Fortune 100 companies. The types of services we provide are a little different, right? Yeah. For smaller companies, we do more litigation, small to mid-size. For the larger companies, most of what we do is preventative, workplace investigations, training the workforce, right? I say, those larger companies require larger firms, which is what my background is in, to represent them. I said, well, let us do the day-to-day preventative stuff. Let us do the training of the workforce and investigate your claims and provide policy drafting.
Always good to have a lawyer on call for situations like this, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who tends to be within the department of an organization? Who tends to be the department that calls that needs to reach out?
Sure. Usually, it's either going to be a human resources manager or the employment counsel or the general counsel for the company.
Okay. Okay. And so, when we're talking about preventative measures, what are some top 5 preventative measures that every business corporation should have? Sure. And because this is what brings the value of what you do, right?
Absolutely. So preventative measures are to have policies in place, right? Have an employment manual that expressly states what the policies are. That's, I think, the groundwork that an employer needs to have in order to be, prevent themselves from liability and set forth what their expectations are for their employees and what their relationship looks like. Once you have the policy, make sure that you have training in place, right?
Training,
So sexual harassment training, discrimination training,
which is what you do too, right? You go out and do a lot of training.
Yes, we do a lot of training to companies of all sizes, and that's something that is important, right? You don't want to find yourself in a lawsuit or find yourself facing the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and then be forced to train and retrain your employees and your workforce. You want to be proactive about it, right? So that's the third thing, is just proactivity, right? Be proactive in everything that you do. Pay attention. You have the policies, you have the training in place. Then be cognizant of what's going on around you. Be cognizant of, is this bullying? Is this, not all workplace bullying. It just may be bullying. It may not be something that could lead to any legal issue, right? But but note that what's going on
Yeah.
and try to stop that behavior as soon
Yeah.
as possible.
Yeah.
So other than being cognizant, again, the next thing would be to put people in place that are
Enforcers,
able to,
right?
enforcers of that, that know what's going on, right? These are people who have been trained, they're familiar
Yeah.
with the policies.
Yeah.
Make sure your management team is strong.
Yes.
And make sure that they know what's going on.
Yeah, and that's where
And-
we come in. We train all the managers.
Exactly, exactly.
You train us on all the legal protections and being preventative and proactive, and then we'll strengthen your managers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then lastly, don't be afraid to contact an attorney. It's a lot cheaper to contact an attorney to answer your question regarding an issue
Yep.
than it is to, call someone because I'm being sued.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's a lot
and that's
cheaper.
that's the thing that tends to happen.
Sure.
You know, they'll call when they're already in trouble. When there's things you could do to avoid that situation, which are a lot more affordable
Right.
than the last minute call, right?
Right. Like, for example, anytime you have an issue, a complaint about something,
Yeah.
you should instantly have an attorney investigate that claim, right?
yeah.
And you don't want it to be your attorney you use all the time.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be your normal law firm. You want it to be someone that's not biased, right?
Right.
So that's where we come in, where we assist with a lot of big firms and a lot of companies by providing, no worries, by providing that sort of by providing those sort of investigations
Right.
that we're able to do.
Yeah.
Because we're a smaller firm, we're not able to do it at a reduced rate.
Okay.
And we're able to provide that sort of representation.
Because you have the ability to get more laser focused and personalized with your
Absolutely,
client. That's
sure.
that's the benefit of being a smaller firm.
Absolutely.
That you have the ability to be there in person.
Right,
Yeah.
and not only that, we're able to, if you feel like you need a lot of companies feel like, I need the larger firm to represent me in litigation. Well, that's great, but you shouldn't hire them to investigate as well.
Yeah.
Because it's creating a conflict, so.
Right.
Well, that's where we come in. So
Okay.
we assist a lot of larger firms and a lot of larger companies
Yeah.
handling those investigations.
Yeah, and that's important because that's definitely something you do not want to do by yourself. You definitely want to be guided by the expert who is there, who's done it for many other companies, and having a lawyer at your side at all times before things get bad. Just having the lawyer there in the first place
Sure.
will prevent the bad things that will happen.
Right, absolutely.
that's what
I would say it's better to
that's
spend
the
a couple
investment.
thousand up front than to spend
Exactly.
hundreds of thousands litigating
Later,
the case.
yeah. And bullying does have an impact on the bottom line.
Oh,
it has
sure.
an impact in multiple ways. Employees will leave because they don't want to work there anymore,
Right.
If they don't feel supported, what else tends to happen? How else does workplace bullying impact the bottom line?
Sure. I mean, your attrition is the number one thing I can think of, right?
Yep.
Lack of morale. We know that we have research out there, when someone is proud of their workplace, when someone feels supported,
Yep.
they're going to work harder for you.
Yeah.
So those employers who are letting workplace bullying and these things run rampant
Yep.
are facing low morale, which is
Yep.
affecting the bottom line.
Yep.
It's costing them more money in training,
Yep.
right, to onboard associates.
Yep.
And we all know recruitment right now is a real challenge for a lot of
Yeah.
people to find the right people. I had a
Yeah.
client recently, we were just talking, and she was saying she had an open position for 3 months in a position she would have filled.
Yeah.
It's a high paying position, it's a
Yeah.
very attractive company,
Yeah.
but they're just not able to fill the roles because there's
Yeah.
not people out there
Right.
who are wanting to work. I mean,
Right.
people are really struggling to get the talent
Right.
pool in their workplace.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, once they're there, you have it's incumbent upon you
Yeah.
to make
It's
sure
like a
that there's
duty.
order.
I almost feel like corporations now in this day and age have almost a civic responsibility to invest in education and empowerment
Sure,
resources
absolutely.
to make sure that the people who are working with you feel supported, right? That
Right.
they feel like they can grow with you because they do
Absolutely.
want to grow with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the employer must recognize that, and protecting the work environment is critical. It's critical
Right.
about
No,
that.
absolutely.
And that's why we're having this conversation now, because I think it's important to ensure that we know who to talk to, number one,
Absolutely.
and that the person who we are talking to is giving us the right pieces of advice.
Sure.
Right, and I think
Right.
that's very critical. What else should we know? What other piece of advice for those employees that maybe are stuck in a situation and don't know what to do? What piece of advice can we close the segment out that you would tell them? What should they do?
For employees, I always say go to your management, go seek out help within the company,
Okay.
and allow the company. And I guess this comes from my term for being a more defense oriented, is allow the company to do its due diligence,
Yeah.
right, to investigate the claim
Yeah.
and try to correct the issue. And if they're
Yeah.
not getting that assistance,
Yeah.
try to find someone else in the company that would help. And if they're not, ultimately they need to seek an attorney.
Yeah, seek an attorney. Very good. All right, how can we get a hold of you? What's your phone number?
Sure, you can get a hold of me by dialing 602-354-2833, or you can go to my website, alejandroperezlaw.com. or you can go email me at ap@alejandroperezlaw.com.
I'll make sure to put all this information on this so you have it and you can connect with Alejandro directly. Alejandro, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Love
Thank you for
having you.
having
This
us.
is the first of many conversations we're going to
Yes.
have around employment law and how can we strengthen the
Absolutely.
work culture
Sounds good.
and all the organizations that we work with.
Good.
Thanks
Thank you
being
for
here.
having me.
So there you have it, another great conversation with a great colleague who is doing amazing work for companies who have situations where they need to address workplace bullying or even developing those policies and procedures. He gave us 5 tips that every employer should consider as they're developing this work culture and work community and how to make it more harmonious. The first tip that he said, he goes, we need to draft our policies and procedures. If you need someone to help you with that, of course, Alejandro's law firm can help you with that. He drafts policies and procedures all the time. The second thing he said is training. We need to make sure that we are trained on those policies. He also does training around that, so you might want to hit him up for that service as well. We want to be proactive, cognizant, and enforce what it is that you are drafting to create that work harmony that you know you want and everybody wants, of course, as well. Make sure you comment and share and like this video. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. It was very, very good to talk to the legal expert around this subject because I know in this time that we're living in, it's important to discuss things that sometimes are not as fun to discuss, but it's always good to have a resource when you need it. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you next week.